Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video I wanted to talk about how unintended game mechanics can completely make a game awesome. So this is a bit of a follow-up video on my previous videos about Path of Exile and The Good Times, where I talked about all the absurdness and unintended mechanics that we've seen in that game's history. But it doesn't stop there, because I found an unintended game mechanic in the game I'm developing as an indie, and I wanted to share that story with you. But first, let's talk a little bit about some of those unintended game mechanics and why they're just so awesome now. So the first one I want to talk about is rocket jumping. So if you've played any sort of Doom kind of Unreal Tournament kind of shooter, you'll be familiar with the concept of rocket jumping. It's essentially using the blast of either a grenade or a rocket launcher to propel your character while jumping up to untold heights. People use this to cheese and exploit a bunch in games, and as a developer, you would cringe at the thought of someone getting past your super duper hard constructed level using some glitch with a rocket launcher. But at the same time, it absolutely defines games which you speedrun or which everyone plays, and in a lot of games like the latest Doom, it is now a feature. And in my opinion, it greatly enriches the game, and it's awesome. Another one of those features is denying creeps in Dota. So in Dota, there are monsters that you can slay for gold. Each team has these, and you can actually choose to slay your own monsters, which is counterintuitive as they are on your team, but you can deny the gold that the enemy would get from slaying your monsters, and kind of that becomes a really, really skillful kind of game. And it absolutely enhances that game and raises the skill ceiling of an already competitive game. Another one of these is animation cancelling in a ton of games. When you go to do an action, you can cancel it by moving your character, saving precious few seconds, increasing whatever you're trying to do by a significant margin. And in Path of Exile, we've seen a ton of these. Through the exponential scaling of Delve or the absolute absurdness of Sextant blocking in Elder Ring, they've all been in the game, and some developers choose to incorporate and embrace these insane features of their game. They might modify them a bit, retool them, but at the same time, a lot of them do live on. Now, Path of Exile sometimes embraces these features, but a lot of times they get straight up removed. And I found myself in a similar position with my indie game. So the indie game I'm making is a roguelike tower defense game that features a shop from auto battlers such as Hearthstone Battlegrounds or Teamfight Tactics. You can purchase towers from the shop and place them on your game board. You also have an inventory for combining towers to level them up, but also moving them in between and moving them around, which is pretty awesome. Okay, there's 4 different factions in my indie game. There's green, red, blue, and white, and each of these factions have a special bonus that is based off of how many towers you have of that color on your board. And the color that you have the most of, you'll get a very, very special bonus which defines that play style. So, I've tested my game at length with a number of testers and very specific, community members, and they identified a very, very exploitative mechanic in the game. And I was posed with the decision, should I remove it or should I keep it? And that mechanic was as follows. So in my game, when you place towers down on the board, you'll accumulate the colored bonus. And when you pick them back up, you'll lose that bonus. It only counts what's on the board. And the highest color value will determine what your main color bonus will be. So if you have 3 green towers and 2 red towers, you'll be green. But if you pick up 2 of those green towers, you'll become red. So that's a pretty interesting mechanic. Now, each of these bonuses have incredibly powerful effects, which basically affect different portions of the game. Now, let me give you an example. The white bonus, every 5 purchases you make in the shop, your 5th purchase will be duplicated. So the gameplay is you buy 4 really, really cheap towers and you duplicate the 5th one. And that's a really awesome bonus. Now, the red one is in combat, while you're red, you get like double damage. It's crazy and it's very, very potent. So what the testers identified is that they could pick up all of their red towers and have all white towers on the board and do all of their shopping and use the white bonus. And then they could pick up all the white towers and put back down all the red towers, and then they could be red and have massive combat bonuses. Essentially leading to a style in which you could cycle through all of the different colors, take advantage of their bonus, and then kind of fiddle around your towers and make it so that you are basically one color, which is red, for combat. Basically playing all 4 colors at once, which is a completely unintended game mechanic and not what I was going for at all with the game. I wanted it to be an impactful choice and a reward for playing your favorite color and strategy. And these players were through I will emphasize high amounts of APM, playing all the colors at once and getting way, way, way further ahead than they should have at that stage of the game. Alright, so as a designer, I have 2 options. I can remove this feature, sorry, 3. I can remove this feature, I can keep it in, and the balance will basically just be screwed up for those players. They're going to completely trivialize the game and blow through it. Or I could try and rework that idea into something else. So if I wanted to remove it, all I'd have to do is make the inventory count towers in there as towards the bonus. So you could no longer manipulate which color you are by picking towers up and putting them back in your inventory. Easy enough. Okay, so those players would be forced to play one color and they wouldn't really be able to do anything, and they'd be basically playing a much slower version of the game. Okay, that's fine. That could be a solution. All right, the other solution, the other thing is I could just let it go. You know, the game is basically broken for those people and they won't find it a challenge at all, and it wouldn't be a very compelling experience. And the final option is to find some sort of middle ground in which everyone can take advantage of playing multiple colors and enjoy the synergies that kind of pop up between them, and kind of try and, you know, bring back those players in, like playing like with all 4, but, you know, try and include everyone else in the fun of playing multiple colors. And that's the option I ended up going with in the end. So the changes I made were as follows. I decided to introduce that incredibly restricted inventory change. So now all of the towers on the board and all the towers in your inventory count towards the bonuses, and it's only going to select the one you have the most of. However, I introduced another change. I made it so that the tower type that you have the second most amount of is also going to give you the special super duper awesome bonus. But it's going to be a little bit weaker. So you have a primary color, which you get the full power bonus of, and you get a secondary bonus, which, you know, you get a medium kind of power bonus for, which is pretty awesome. So what did I achieve here? Well, I absolutely blew open the possibilities for your average player. They now get to do what all the crazy players were doing without having to do all the really painful microing and shuffling around, which no one really enjoyed doing anyway. So I've enabled that, and I've added a completely new dimension to my game, and it's much more fun now, and there's much more variety, and there's many more synergies. And I've also effectively rebalanced the game for those really extreme outlier players, and it's no longer going to be trivial for them. Yes, they're going to lose some flexibility. They can't play all 4 anymore, but they can still achieve some level of customization and flexibility, which I think is really good. So the lesson I learned from this is that these players who were exploiting my game, they found something really fun. They were able to play multiple colors at once, and that should have just been in the game design from the beginning. And it was only through, you know, thinking about their exploit, why did they enjoy doing it so much? Why were they suffering through picking up all their towers and fiddling around every single round? That I discovered that that's how it should be anyway. And I was able to make a really good decision, and the game is much more fun now. And I think that that really is at the heart of good game design. It's taking the rocket jump and embracing it. It's allowing players to deny the creeps and having it being one of the most skillful parts of the game. It's having players who find really quirky and interesting ways to use your system, you know, taking that and expanding upon it and making it more available and part of the game itself. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little bit of a design video. If you like this kind of video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. This isn't taking any time away from the PoE stuff, so expect plenty more of that. And you know, as I've already posted a video today, that's pretty much in line. But you know, if you're ever interested in talking game design or you're making a game yourself, you can hit me up on Discord. I got links down below. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.